Okay, sweet. So let's see what OBS says. Sweet. So there's gonna be more a tutorial, I guess, for the first several minutes, just because, for example, let me close this. Um, I've had a couple people like reach out and they kind of want to help out on making this series. So eventually, I'm gonna put all of this like in a OneDrive box. So if you're watching and you want to help out, check this out. Also, I can't check stream comments because I'm a little brokey like that, and I don't have a secondary like little monitor for comments. So I'll occasionally use my phone, but yeah. So check it out. Um, already have all of them ported into PNG, so you don't have to worry about any of that. So if you have Photoshop or any editing software, it's pretty simple. So what I did was I think Control Alt I? Yeah, and that pulls this up. So the reason I want a higher resolution is obviously if I zoom in, you can see how blurry this is, right? So if I do Control Alt I also, when I'm moving there without using the mouse and having to click the shortcut key, I click the tab and then I just boom, boom, boom until I hit resolution and then I just press 300. So for those of you who kind of want to help, I think it was like only 3 people reached out, but regardless, see, so it kept the same size, but it literally just bumped up the resolution. So I do that. Um, if you're using Photoshop, I typically use the W key that brings up my wand. And then what I do here is I can just click it a few times because you can see it still didn't grab some of that gray area. I'm gonna go ahead and hit like if you see that little plus like on the wand, that means it's adding. Because if I just clicked it again, it selects something else. So I'd select on the white. I mean that's gonna be the easiest. And then I just do a bunch of clickies, and then I click the delete. So here I'm gonna open up my layers. So for anyone who's done any art, you can do this on Photoshop or mostly any drawing software. They have something like sort of as the lasso tool, and it kind of just I typically use the polygonal one just because I want it to be very straight. Once I have it all selected, I would hit Control C to copy, then I would delete. And you're thinking, well, why would you want to delete it? Well, I mean, it's because I want to isolate each panel and so I can bring it up in a new layer so that way we're not working on the same one. So for example, if I draw, I'm gonna hit Control Shift V because if I draw right now and I have the top layer selected, it's only gonna draw on the top layer. See, so if I hide it now, it doesn't draw at all on the previous one. So the reason I want that and have them isolated is because when I actually start editing on Premiere Pro, for me to actually storyboard it, I want each individual panel. So again, I'm just walking step by step. So boom, we got that. Oh yeah, actually another little trick. So if you don't want to like have to like, oh my gosh, I gotta go to my mouse again. I typically just use like the control key, and then there's like gonna be like a little bracket. It should be. I mean, I'm using a Logitech keyboard. You can just use the um, it's like it's right next to the. Well, for me, it's next to the letter P. It literally looks like a bracket. It's not the parentheses one. It's like the stiff looking one, and not the one for coding. So it literally looks like that. It's like a hard C, like that bracket and this bracket. Anyway, to go in between layers, you just hit like I think it was like Alt and then the bracket, and that's how you kind of shift between your layers. So if you didn't know, you can also use that like on most drawing software because it's already encoded into what they use. So I'd select it and then boom, and I'm just doing this a little bit faster so that way I'm not boring anyone to death. So Control C, see, and now I did that pretty fast, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to FX. I usually just do it like a quick stroke. This should be one of the easier ones. Um, I don't really care which one. I would do the outside, but I typically do inside so I can actually bring in a little bit. The size doesn't particularly matter. I think I've been running like a 9 most of the time. So what that did, for example, if I go to this one, you can see like how it's white on the top and I kind of messed up here if you see that. So I get for going too fast. I'll show you again in a second. I just want to make sure I didn't mess up here. But Control C, Control V. Okay, cool. So, like I said, the reason for that stroke is because I want this to look clean. Because when I actually put it in Premiere Pro, I mean, most people are gonna see like the quick outline of this, and some people are gonna see that. I mean, if you're comparing this, all I did was add a stroke. I literally just boom, see that, added that little black line. The purpose behind that is it's gonna look a little cleaner, and then not right now, but when I actually start storyboarding, that's when we can actually do like a little drop shadow. But we're not gonna do that yet. But see like how this is also gonna make it look a little smoother. And once we actually start, so for example, if I copied layer style and then I pasted it, it seems like it's overlapping, and I kind of want that. It's gonna be like a nice little clean feel. See? So it looks like there's one over the other, and it's gonna, not gonna lie, I saw someone do that, and I'm like, okay, like low key, let's start stealing. It's not really stealing if we're just borrowing an idea. It's the same premise. So we go boom, boom, boom. Super easy, right? I think the more difficult ones is where any drawings overlap, and you don't really have to worry about that. Like you can let me worry about that. If they overlap, I can draw them. I can draw them in. It's not a problem. It's mostly these that just take a lot of time, just because it's time consuming. It's not difficult by any means. It just takes a lot of time. Because eventually, I did mention what I want to do is so for I know I'm like quick clicking. So what I hit right now is again my lasso tool. I usually hit J, so I can do like my little patch one. So I forget what this tool's called, but I mean, yeah, the patch tool. So what I usually do is I'm gonna do that, and you're thinking like, well, what'd you do that for? Think of it like my little lasso tool that I was using, but I could like kind of freehand draw it, and I'm gonna remove some of that because eventually I want to remove the text from these. So when I actually hire voice actors, so we're gonna have this, and let's say I guess whatever was said. Obviously, that's not the actual text, but you get the idea. So it comes up smoother, um, but we're gonna leave that as is for now. And so what we would do here is now that it's off from the corner, and I need it a little bit away from the corner, so that way when I come back and I add the drop shadow, um, it's not it's not like kiss in the corner, because then we miss some of the drop shadow, and when I save it, it's gonna end up chopping off that little bit of the shadow, and I don't want that. So I need it sort of away. So what I would do here is Control Alt Shift S. And you see that? Like it brought it up automatically to a PNG. Because some of you might be thinking like, okay, well, why don't you just hit Control S? Because you see that it wants to save as a Photoshop file, and I don't want it as a Photoshop file. That's gonna end up being a little bit bigger. And you're thinking, well, how did you just do that to like automatically save? Because if I hit Control Shift, is Control Alt Shift S, it doesn't bring it up as a PNG. So what I actually did, I actually had to go to File Settings, and you essentially change how you were saving your quick command as. Like most software has this. I literally just looked it up, and I just changed it on the export settings. See, super easy, quick export. You're pretty much able to like customize this further if you wanted to, but I typically just have it. So again, Control Shift S, super easy. And then I typically do like 0.1, so that way I know this is the first panel of page 10. And then I'll do this faster now. So I just wanted to walk y'all through it. I did learn don't do it too fast, because then if you mess up, it's kind of done. I went a little too fast once, and I think I accidentally saved all my layers onto one. and then I had to redo the whole panel. So if you want to ever double check to see like, oh, did I mess up? You can literally just, for example, I'm gonna open up all the photos. So 10.1, that's gonna be page 10, panel 1. See, boom, super easy. The ones that get a little bit more difficult would be something like, there's not really a lot of things that are overlapping here, but I'm trying to find a good one. But I mean, I've already shown that in previous videos, but I mean, I guess you'll see this as I move forward. So I'm on page 11. So I would hit Control W and then I hit no because I don't want to save it. At least because it's wanting this for me to save it as a Photoshop file, and I don't want that. If you're ever doing really quick, speedy work, these shortcuts might come in handy, but I mean, highly doubtful. Like if you're not, because this is pretty niche. So see, I just made it pretty big. I'm actually gonna cut this out because it's not 100% necessary, but I'd like to keep it. So we're gonna go from there. Oh, and if you're wondering, well, I can't, how do I get my straight? Like my lines when I move them, they're not perfectly straight. How are you auto doing that? I literally just hit the shift key and like right here, boom, it just slams it down and it makes the key much straighter. It just auto aligns to whatever is like perfectly horizontal. So now that I have that, for example, and then I just right click, boom, look, see, there's my layer. I'm not actually going to keep it like this just because, you know, it feels kind of weird. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to make a bigger box because if you saw like when I pasted the layer, it kind of like it's squished and I don't want that. So we're going to add a new layer. We're going to hit the G key that brings up the paint bucket tool. But you see, I don't want it. I don't want it black. I actually want it white, so we don't cover that up. You might be thinking like, well, what did you do there? Okay, well, I filled it in with white. I'm gonna drag this layer above. I'm not naming these just because I don't really need to. And then I'm gonna group them. So what I did here was I clicked, holding Shift, and that's how you can hold two keys simultaneously. And then I right clicked with my mouse, and then I'm gonna click Merge. I'm gonna right click again, and boom, look at that, a little bit nicer. Cool. Now I'm gonna hit my W key. I'm gonna speed this up a little bit because I feel like I'm already taking too long for something like this. These should be my easier ones. There's only a few times where I change it up a little bit, but that's because I don't want the software later on Premiere Pro, the editing one. I don't want that to take forever. So I typically resize them here a little bit in Photoshop and then just save them as PNGs and export them. Which ultimately makes it a little bit easier because like, oh, why not just use vectors? I'm gonna be honest, I don't know enough about vectors. I know it mathematically keeps everything perfectly the same, regardless of resizing. But I'm here to tell you I'm lazy, and I don't want to do that. That feels like a lot more work, and I'm already doing enough work by myself that I don't want to do that. Hold up. Gonna check. Yo, what's up, Marvel? Hey, kiddo, what's up? I just pulled up. I pulled up YouTube on my phone. Sweet. Yeah. Hopefully this helps you out too, kid. I'm not trying to. Sure. Okay, so boom, boom, boom. And now to select all layers, like if you have all layers, I would literally just hit like Control Alt A, right click, paste, boom. Super easy. I'll show you one more thing that I do. I know this is kind of like a tutorial for anyone that's literally pulling up. But for example, that like so like earlier I said like I want to make that drop shadow, right? So let's say I go to the second one, I hit drop shadow. Oh, sorry, not outer glow, drop shadow. Some of you might be thinking, well, like, what did you do there? Also, I don't know if I like that graininess. I'm gonna have to change that later. Um, like that's quite grainy. You see that? But I kind of vibe with it. It makes. I mean, I might keep the graininess for anything that's like kind of like an intense scene. But if I zoom out, okay, you can kind of see the grain. Anyway, so some of you might be thinking like, well, George, what are you doing? Like up here? Cause see, like you're like, well, didn't you say you didn't want it to randomly cut off here because there's going to be a little bit extra on the top? Yes, yes, I did. So what you would actually be doing here is, for example, where are we? Not the top one. These two. We would actually make these a little bit bigger. Oh, actually, here's what we can do to cheat this a little bit. So I grabbed all of these, correct? These I'm going to make a little bit bigger. Emphasis on a little bit. I don't want to stretch them out too much. So boom. Now I got this one. I'm going to make that one a little bit bigger. And I'm going to make this one, wow, you guessed it, a little bit smaller. But you might be thinking like, well, like it's kind of not staying in the middle. How do I want it exactly in the middle? So if you hit shift, you can like stretch, squash, all this stuff. That's not what I'm wanting. I'm wanting to, because Photoshop, like, uh, it would automatically scale it on its own, but I don't want it to accidentally slide down because you see how it's coming down instead of staying in the middle. I'm actually gonna like squeeze it down by holding the Alt key. And see that? It's keeping it perfectly aligned. And I don't want to squish it too much because I am gonna have to resize this taller later. And if you're squishing and stretching like constantly, eventually you're gonna end up losing some quality on the actual text. So we're gonna refrain from using that too much. So let's go ahead and hit save. 11.1, then we do this one, 11.2, and we're not gonna, instead of scrolling down with the Alt and bracket, we're gonna scroll up because ding ding ding, we almost forgot about that. So 11.3, I'm gonna count that as its own panel. It's not necessarily its own panel, but why not? And yes, I know, like, so for example, if we're actually taking note of what we're doing, so if we read a little bit of the text, it says Kiyomi, and then we're gonna see Sadafumi Kiyomi. So yes, I did save it as 3, but it won't matter because it's gonna be sequential, like right next to it. So hopefully this is helping anybody. Like ultimately, it's just gonna be helping me because I want to speed this up. I want to get another. I really want to get to working on the episode soon, but it's just a lot of work, man. Not to mention if I'm gonna do any animations, because I do want to change some stuff for the background, so that way it doesn't feel too repetitive, um, from what I used in Steel Ball Run. Not gonna lie though, I was very happy. The turnout for episode 1, I say episode, my bad. For movie 1 was pretty good. Um, a little sad movie 2 wasn't as popular, but honestly, I kind of stopped. It didn't bother me once I realized the little short movies were kind of more for me than for anybody else because you know that's something I worked for a long time. Um, there was a lot that influenced and inspired me to create that and to achieve something better. So I'm glad by Act Two, like the Steel Ball Run Act Two movie was way better than the first one. But I'm also overwhelmingly sorry, thankful that enough people turned out for the first one anyway. I know some people really enjoyed it the first time, and I'm glad by, you know, by the end of the series, I was adapting it more to what I wanted to achieve rather than just mimicking Ichi Joestar's video. Which again, no shade to him. Like I feel like I say that a lot, and that's just because I don't want anyone to believe that I'm throwing shade, because I'm not. I'm really not. Um, if anything, I applaud him for doing such a big project on his own. Um, he essentially began it, and I feel like I got grandfathered into it. Not because I'm doing it for views or subs or Patreon or any of that really. Um, I'm doing this for the love of the game, and I think by the time, let's see, for those of you that don't know, I am a teacher. I can't tell you where, but um, my first year a while ago, I had a group of fifth graders. Man, they're like almost in eighth grade now. By the time I finish with JoJolion, they might graduate. Like, because I'm gonna be working on this for quite a bit. But what a crazy frame of reference, though. You know what's wild to me is I checked my little YouTube stats, and I got to see that like roughly, I think it was like 10% of my subscribers are under 13 that watch this. I'm like, I know that was like, according to YouTube, that was like because my first video like popped up yet again um on, I think it was like on recommendations when the first Steel Ball Run episode actually came out and people wanted to watch the official one. Um, and they met unfortunately with some disappointment by seeing my video. I'm glad some people like really liked it. I think it was interesting. I think there was only one person that commented negatively about it. But everyone else, they're like, "Whoa, coming from the episode to this, it's like they skipped so much." And I'm like, "Wow, I agree." But where I was going with this is that it said my viewers are 13 and up or around that age. So it kind of made me start thinking. I was like, okay, well, let me start reflecting on what I say because uh, as an adult, especially as someone who works with works in education, I'm like, man, I wanted I kind of wanted the, what is it? My I wanted my personal channel. I say personal. This is not my personal one. This feels more like a job one. My personal one's my like actual gaming stream one, but that one's like dead. Like I hardly stream on that one. I know I rarely stream on this one, but I actually do a bit more here. The other one's more like a test post. Where was I going with this? I think initially the reason I started wanting to stream is so I can hold myself accountable because I'm kind of tired. I'm stuck in like a mental rut, if I might say. There's days where I feel like overwhelmingly inspired to do stuff, and then I go on like weeks, and I mean weeks of burnout of like I can't continue, and I'm not satisfied with myself in a weird way. And other times I'm like, wow, I'm so happy with myself. Like I've done so much. I matter a lot. I don't know, man. I think it's just I just it's the brain because I don't feel misery from doing this. Like I like doing this. I just wish I was getting some joy out of it right now. But part of me realizes that like some stuff has to get done no matter what. And essentially that's where I kind of want help because it's been probably a year, the better part of a year now. Last year I got to enjoy the rest of my summer. I finished Steel Ball Run, and believe it or not, I started working on JoJolion immediately. Um, so I guess part of me is like starting to feel some burnout. But that's just because my mind, like every time I come back to either doing this or working on storyboarding and pacing, like in what's it called? Yeah, see, like my brain's already fried on Premiere Pro. Like I don't know. I'm like I want it to end, and not because I want the series to end, but to get so numb. Like I sit down for hours. Um, I guess I never really found that fine medium that I told myself I would, and I want to, and I want to take care of myself a bit more. I've been promising that forever, and I keep putting it off for a long time. I tell myself this isn't something I want to rush, um, and yet here I am sitting for hours at a time on my days off, continuing because I mean I don't owe anyone anything, but I think my goal is to try to beat by the time essentially beat the studio that's actually making JoJo. Like I want to be able to drop like my episodes without worrying about like oh my gosh am I gonna be able to make it on time before the official release? And I mean, I might say, some might say I can. Like I believe, but I know I get lazy at times, and other times I'm like, oh my gosh, it's not even lazy. It's just there's just so much to do, and I don't have enough time out of my day or free time. But I guess in the weirdest way possible, I feel like I need to succeed. I think my last wish left. I mean, I got to like plenty of people to read Steel Ball Run through my videos, and it made me really happy. It's one of it's literally my favorite series. Um, I think the slow burn of JoJolion is kind of getting like it's not like it's getting to me, but I'm learning to appreciate it a little bit more. And I think that's how I kind of felt with Steel Ball Run, but I'm still hoping I get that same feeling for JoJolion. I think I've reread the series probably 3 times at this point, and some parts it really just tugs on me emotionally. But it's a slow burn, but I'm beginning to enjoy it. Like and I say that each time, but I really am. Also, if I mute myself and I end up going about my day, I apologize. It's just because, you know, I ain't gonna lie, seeing this like is not that fun, and and doing it isn't all that fun either. Wait, actually, oh yeah, oh man, y'all gonna love this guy. A pet has been spotted. Oh yeah, some update time. Um, the reason I haven't been live streaming a little bit is because, like I said on the last one, I was moving and I just moved houses. I went from an apartment complex to a house, which is pretty cool. It just took more setup than normal. I ain't gonna lie, kind of salty, kind of peeved. It is solely because, oh my gosh, some dude pulled up and stole stuff off of my porch. Well, not my porch, but like by the, what's it called? By the driveway. I had bought them lights, and I'm like, there's no way. I was like, who's finna pull up the yoink lamps? Believe it or not, someone still did. So I ended up getting like kind of antsy, and I was like, okay, I really need to set up my security cameras. So for the better part of a few weeks, because um, grown ass man, I'm afraid of heights, and I was not having a good time going to the attic. But for the better part, I'm mostly done. I just gotta set up like um, 2 more cameras, and I got it done. So that's just because I'm tired of breathing insulation. If you don't know what insulation is, it's the stuff that's in the wall. It's like that forbidden cotton candy that makes your throat really itchy. Dude, I breathed that in. I felt like a cat. I was coughing up like insulation balls. Um, my throat is still itchy because I was up there last night. But... And yes, I am wearing a PPE mask, so it was covering a good amount. I was wearing like it was like these clear they're not goggles, but they're like protective eyewear. But it's July. I'm a little bit behind schedule, at least in my perspective. I know to some of you, you're like, wow, you're like almost halfway done. You're at chapter 47. Um, yeah, that's true, but I was hoping to be a little bit further. Well, we're almost halfway there. I'm not calling it halfway until I actually reach chapter 55 because that's like an exact halfway. Um, and I have about 2 weeks left of summer. That's 14 days. So, I mean, you can do the math like 47 plus 14. Even if I did one a day, I'd be a little bit less than half. Which still isn't terrible, but I'm at a really good start. And yes, I know I look like I'm moving really fast, but it's I think the ones that take the most time are the ones that I gotta like redraw stuff in, overlapping, it like eats up another panel. I don't have to redraw it, but it makes it look more professional, and it completely changes how like someone can view the episode. At least for me, because I want it to look nice. So we're on 18. Wow. Bless up. This is gonna be a short chapter. Usually I'm met with like 50 plus pages, dude. Okay, so let me show you another one. So for example, if I hit the wand tool, you see like, oh no, it's grabbing some of that. Okay. All you gotta do is, I mean, you could see the thing going right here. I would just lasso. Like you see it's like going everywhere. I'm just gonna hold the shift key and boom, makes it straight. Super easy. And then I just rinse repeat. Control C, cut, V, and then we're gonna unselect it. We're gonna hit wand, boom, and boom. And just so like we're not accidentally missing anything, I'm gonna select a little bit more. Cool, boom, done. We're finally at vitamin C. Well, almost at vitamin C. I shouldn't slow down here because this is like one of my best arcs. I'd say, sorry, not one of my best arcs, one of my favorite arcs. I think the Beetle one was also pretty fun, but I'm kind of glad I'm done with that one because it was a bunch of overlapping where I'm like, dude, ain't nobody gonna be paying attention to this. Um, oh, okay. All right. Well, that's enough of me talking. Hopefully that gave you enough of an insight on how to do any of this. Like, if any of you are really interested in helping out, um, thanks, homie. You too. I really appreciate it. Thanks for being a real one, my guy. Um, I'm definitely gonna go back and what's it called? I'm definitely gonna head back to working on this. I'm hoping that it's sticking out for 5 more hours, and I think by then I should finish up this chapter in the next one. Um, but for shoresies, I'm probably gonna mute my mic and probably just be watching Pokemon. So thank you for stopping by. Sorry, I probably should put a spoiler warning for anyone because like the panels do kind of be spoiling stuff. Not intentional. I apologize. Let's see, we're on 19. Oh yeah, my bad, my bad. Let me mute myself now. I'll leave my phone next to me, so if anyone else says hi, I'll be sure to say hi. Oh, and please tell me if you're hearing anything, because I am watching Pokemon. It's been forever. I've never watched a series, so I told myself like, you know what, we ball. Because I already watched Breaking Bad. I watched um, Batman Beyond. I watched Interstellar recently. Really good film. Um, Project Hail Mary. I tried watching The Back Rooms, but if anyone knows me, I'm a huge scaredy cat. I tried watching it and I just wasn't having a good time because I was scared out of my mind. That's just 'cause I'm a baby and I can't really do any horror. Um, some people are really into it. I wish I was into it a little bit more, but the boy be scared. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But like, I'm I'm finna go back to watching TV like on my little secondary monitor, and I can't really read chat on it. So, um, if you say anything, I'll leave my phone next to me, but I'm gonna go ahead and mute myself. But I'm gonna keep working. Um, and I really appreciate you guys for stopping by. well, we're pretty much done with this chapter. I only stopped 'cause I got a call, and we love our scam calls. Ugh, no way, I got a thing for. You know what? I'll do it now. Um, actually, no. I'll do it on my phone. I was finna pull it up. Um, really gotta be doing work during the summer. You know, you know what? Let me stop complaining. It's gonna take like 2 seconds or like a minute. Hmm. No, don't refresh. Yeah. Okay. This is my email. That should be my email. Okay, cool. Chat. What is my favorite bud cake flavor? I think it's strawberries and cream. Dislikes. Man, what do I dislike? Uh, I don't like. Yeah, sorry if this is boring. Like I promise I'm here. I'm literally just doing like a work email. I'm trying to think what I dislike, like in terms of food. I eat pretty much. I'm gonna be okay. Sushi. I don't care for sushi. Dislike. And this isn't even like necessary, but I'm like, well, better failing out now, because Lord knows once cool. Yay! I can go back to doing my thing. Come on, come on, phone, please. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Right. Control. Chat. What should I watch? I was watching YouTubers, but then I was like, my brain's kind of frying. Should I? Should I go back and start listening to books? I just might. What book do I want to listen to? Hmm. What's on the top right now? Ooh, the Odyssey. How long is this? 14 hours. I feel like listening to the classics and then reading them are two completely different things, though. But I do want to watch the movie, so the Odyssey it is. Wait, is it included in premium? I'll listen before you watch. Hmm. Ain't no way Heater Rivalry's on here. Might actually read it, but Dune? Oh, dude, I've been meaning to read this. Okay, because I wanted to actually watch this series. I had had a coworker tell me, uh, summer has turned pretty. Okay, here. We're gonna start with this one. How long are we? 6 hours, bro. We'll fit, buddy. Oh, also, if anyone could please tell me if you could hear the freaking audiobook, because I do want to chime into something, but I also don't necessarily want to, like, have this be. Oh, you know what? I can just check on stream. Why am I asking? Cool. It says it's muted. Oh, you know it's your boy. I'm not gonna lie, when I was first reading JoJolion, I hated this guy, bro. But he kind of grows on you. He has a very weird way of protecting his family, but in a sense, like I feel like I understand. Oh, I just need to make it to maybe, hopefully, um, page 20, and then I'm probably gonna take a short break and take my dog out to the restroom, and then maybe I'll call it there. As much as I want to keep going, it's like part of me is like, oh man, I'm getting a little exhausted doing this, like in a sitting. It's like part of me remembers last year where I was doing like freaking like 14, 16-hour sessions in one sitting. I know I wasn't really streaming those, but that's because I know they were boring and they would also low key be spoiling the storyboard of Steel Ball Run. I mean, I guess in a way it isn't also spoiling, but I mean, if you're watching this, I assume like you're either reading or going to read JoJolion, and you have no idea what's going on at the time, but that's okay. All right. Well, in the meantime, I'm gonna go back to listen to my audiobook. I'm gonna mute myself. I'm currently listening to The Summer I Turned Pretty. I'm on chapter 7. I feel content. I know I didn't like this stream was barely 2.5 hours, but wow, look at that. I'm like, high key, it is noon. It's time for me to take my dog out. I am gonna come back, and I'm probably gonna continue. So, but I probably am not gonna continue the stream. But you get the idea. Like, first half, I literally just showed you all how to do it. If any of you want to help out, let me know. And like I said, I can put all of these in Dropbox, and then we can work together and see how this thing works out. Because I mean, look, I'm on 48. I got 62 to go. That's a lot. Um, I think my goal right now is to get to chapter potentially 50 by the end of summer. And that's kind of like pretty soon because I go back to work here, if I remember right. So I got 2 weeks. So 2 weeks in a day. I don't know how to feel, especially knowing that like my summer's pretty much almost over. But simultaneously, it feels like, man, that's a lot, dude. This is a lot, man. This is a lot for one guy. But we're almost in 2027. That should give me. I pray for the better part. Uh, I'll start January. And if I do work by volumes, I'm praying that let's say this year it'll take me probably like 1, 2. I mean, realistically, it takes me about 3 months per episode. But if I'm gonna be at work, it'll take me 4 months per episode. Um, each episode I should be covering like 5 chapters, so this would be 20, another 20, and another 20. So yeah, like so 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. I think personally, just because I know I'm gonna take a long time. I know it. And for the quality that I want to produce, I think I could potentially, so let's say I do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's do this because we'll open up manga decks just so you have a visual representation. Let's look up. Not that. I don't know what that's there. JoJolion. So, JoJolion got 27 volumes, so I'm probably gonna have 27 episodes. Let's do Descending. So, volume 1 is gonna have 5 chapters. Volume 2 and that volume 2 goes to chapter 9. I think I could probably expand that, but I could always make it the episodes a little bit shorter, so that'd be from chapter 5. So that'd be 4 chapters. This would be, look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, where is my next volume? This would be 5 chapters. So say, like, it'd probably take me a full year to cover all the way through, because, you know, this is volume 4, that's 4 episodes. In 4 episodes, I'm going to cover 18 chapters. So that'd be, and I think I could push it like up to 20, right? Oh, it's not what I meant to do. Oh. Oh wow. Short. I'd probably do the 22 chapters in 1 year, so that would literally be all of 2027. I'd get up to chapter 22. And some of you might be thinking, oh, why can't you just do that faster? I can't. I wish I could, but I can't. I mean, I'm literally barely halfway through chapter 48. If I look at this at the angle of like, oh my gosh, it's 2026, I'm praying that I could finish all the chapters by December, like finish photoshopping them out. Let's say I start in January, going off of the same pace I was doing for Steel Ball Run and same quality. I don't think I'll have enough. I don't think I have the manpower in me to be able to push out an episode every 3 months at the same high quality. I think it'd give me 4 months realistically with my like because of my job. Um, but I could work at it in a pace where I don't feel like I'm overwhelmed either by giving myself 4 months. So every 4 months, I could probably do, if I'm really pushing it, maybe 22 chapters, but I'm not so sure. Because it takes me about, let's say, I started today. If I'm going off of like what I did for Steel Ball Run, it literally took me about a week, literally a full week to probably get like to comfortably work visually and finish a single chapter. So it for myself that'd be one, if I do 22 chapters, that's about 22 weeks. That I'm pushing what was 4 months times like four, that's 16. I'd still be pushing it because not only do I have to work on the visuals, I still have to go back and actually do uh, animations and sound effects. So I think 4 months is perfectly enough time for 20 chapters. So if I finish 20 in all of 2027, I finish 20 more in 2028, finish 20 more in 2029, I finish 20 more by 2030. Um, I think I'll start actually releasing stuff in 2031. So that'd be 5 years from now. And that seems like an outrageously long time. But if I start releasing them, let's say August. And yes, I'm looking this up because I don't know this about off the top of my head. August 17th. And my birthday is on the 17th, 2021. So if I start releasing this stuff in 2031, and it's because I also have to think about Steel Ball Run. Like Steel Ball Run was announced last year. We got one episode this year. We're getting 12 more, but it's going up to the end of stage 3. And if we're looking at like fucking the releases, let's say Stone Ocean, for example. Let's say even Golden Wind. Gold Wind, their runtime. So yeah, 39 episodes. They went from, look at that. And they had delays due to COVID. Okay, cool. So they aired. Okay. And then I want to compare and contrast to part 4. Um, Just because if I'm looking at this correctly, so it's so if we do based on its premiere on Netflix, that gives me well, it gave me that's like a full year. So December 2021, September 2021, then 2022. So Stone Ocean finished up in 1 year. And then we had Steel Ball Run. Let's do Steel Ball Run. And that was 2026. So release date. My bad for that. October 5th, 2019. From October, no, let's do one more. That's 2021. So I'm gonna have that's 1 year for airtime, and then from its start, so that's 2018 to 22. So that's a better part of 2, 4. That was 4 years in between from beginning to end of next series. And keep in mind, that's to end of next series. So from 2022 to 2026. That's about 4 years. So I have about 4 years before JoJolion comes into play. So if we're looking at this like and just by release date alone, there's roughly a 4 year gap. So 2018 to 2022, from 2022 to 2026. I have 4 years for this project. If I think my goal is to, I know some people are gonna hate this, but I'm probably gonna have to do this in batches. Dude, I am not. That's not me. I'm not Fukuro. Um, I'm literally just somebody that reached out to him, and I wanted to continue this project. But I do not associate myself with Fukuro. That is not me. Um, I'm just some guy named George. I like doing this for funsies, but I'm not Fukuro. I appreciate it though. He is my goat. I kind of started this because his channel was shot down and he never continued. Rightfully so, but I'm doing this for fun. Um, and this is kind of just a hobby, but I'm just trying to like mentally prepare myself for this because, like I was saying, it's about 4 years in between for everything. So that means I have about 4 years. If I start in August, yeah, no, my bad, not August. If I start in 2027, that should give me roughly, and if I'm doing one episode every 4 months, that would at least give me, give or take, the better part of like 5, 10, 15, 20. So like I said, I could probably do 20 chapters here, 20 chapters here, and I could probably do. Some people are gonna dislike this, but I might have to do patch releases just so I can get the ball rolling, and maybe, and I say pray maybe, um, it's anyone's help, because if I pump out those 40 chapters, um, that should get us around. That should get us around to Dubiwa. But I actually want to finish this chapter though. So that should be near the vitamin C arc. So if I could pump out all the way to this is kind of a spoiler for anyone. Like I hope I'm not spoiling this. Yeah, I might. Okay, yeah. So if I can get to the end of chapter 42 by 2028, I could probably later, my guy. Thank you for stopping by. If I could pump this out up to chapter 42, maybe. I can do those 40 in those 2 years, then I'd get 2 more years. Maybe, and I say maybe by then, I can hire some help, but who knows? Because this is gonna be quite pricey. But I'll see, I'll see. It doesn't seem all bad, all things considered. So if it starts now, I got 4 years, that's until 2030. That's until the end of 2030. And that should be a 4-year gap. So yeah. It's 2018, and then we start the new. Like I mean, Stone Ocean began here in 2021, and then from the beginning of Stone Ocean to the beginning of Steel Run, that was 5 years. So I have the better part. Like all things considered, maybe 5 years. But I don't want to hold my breath. Um, if we are doing the averages of the 38 episodes that we've been doing since like for a minute now. So 38, 28, something along those lines. That's still going to take the better part of a few years. My bad. I know I'm doing some mental gymnastics. That's 2, that's 3. So from 2016 to 2018. So it's 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Maybe I got time. If it is those 5. So we release 1, 2, 3 episodes, 4, 5, 6. So that'd be 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 110. So that's 6 years from now. I'd still be ahead of the anime, which would be fun. And also my bad if my voice was pretty low. I didn't intend for that. Was that on my mic? My mic's end? Yeah, I think so. Okay, well, again, that's it for me for today. Because 1, I'm pretty far away from my mic. And 2, because I think it's I'm kind of done for the day. I'm not overwhelmed. I'm just exhausted. But thank you guys for stopping by, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.